Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian, and I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Justin, and I'm from New Orleans.
And this is the
Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh my gosh. Happy Friday, everybody.
Oh,
Depending
boy.
on
Yeah.
the order in which you listen, maybe it's already been Friday today. I don't know, because it's double feature Friday.
Double feature
DFF.
Friday.
When you gotta fit 8 episodes into 7 days, you gotta double down on one day, and we picked
You
Friday.
got to double down on Friday.
This is a double feature Friday. And what better way to kick off double feature Friday than with our good friend Justin Kirkland.
That's
Justin, hello, my friend.
Hey, y'all! I'm thrilled to be here.
Season 5, 5th season you've been hanging out with us. Can you believe it?
How's that feel?
It's crazy. I remember the first episode I recorded with you guys, the most important film of our time. It's Christmas Eve.
It's
That's
Christmas
right.
Eve.
Yeah.
I was like plopped on my bed with with a blanket over me, trying to make sure that the sound sounded right. So 5 years
Well-
later, y'all look fancy.
Look at us. And you've done some you did a Paris Wine and Romance or some other movie with us. And then you and I do a little Yellowstone podcast, Justin.
Yeah, called John Dutton Must Die, a Yellowstone podcast. And if anybody asks, it's unofficial.
It's unofficial. If anyone asks, that
Only
is
if they
correct.
ask.
It's unofficial.
That's right.
And that just recently started. So if you haven't picked up on that, subscribed wherever you listen to the
Please
pods. John Dutton Must Die. I don't watch Yellowstone, so the show is, maybe not as fun for me, but I love Justin so much that I still listen from time to time.
From time to time. I was about
Yeah.
to say, you're going to go ahead and on the record and say you listen every week.
I listen
Conditionally.
from time to time
Yeah.
throughout each episode where I'm trying to edit it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's great. I love hearing you, buddy. You're great. Dan, take or leave. But
Sure.
Justin Kirkland, forget about it.
Dan and I we've had a great time, because I think that the way that I would sell it is, if you're a Yellowstone fan, we get into the details of each episode and we add a little bit of humor, and it's just unhinged where you're like, I don't think I'm going to listen anymore. But then the episode's over, and by the time the next episode comes, you're like, I think I'm going to listen again.
One more. Yeah, we're always on a 1 episode probation for every listener.
But
And
you
I-
guys also did the cool thing where you start a new TV show recap podcast on the 5th season.
5th season. Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
is
That's
how you
fresh.
should do it. That's how the pros do it.
That's when, and you've been writing TV for years, Justin. That's when TV shows typically get good, right?
Season 5.
I know that's when Grey's Anatomy really hit its
Yeah.
narrative stride.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, West Wing, I feel like found its footing in 5. A lot of great season 5s out there. for
I
sure.
gotta
Speaking-
ask. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you mentioned West Wing season 5. I know I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but can I tell you how grateful I am to see Maura Kelly on television again?
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, I know who she
And
is.
doing great too.
Yeah, you said it. Hey, speaking of talking, Justin, you're from East Tennessee.
Yes.
Are you going to be making the trek down here at all during the holiday season?
Oh no.
So
Already knows.
this year I will not. My parents, if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen my dad. He's got this like big burly beard.
He's a legend.
Tennessee is sending him on loan up to New York with my mom and my brother to celebrate Christmas with me up here this year,
Wow.
which is going to be nothing short of an unmitigated disaster.
Are they staying in your giant apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be
You
so
know-
much fun.
You know how New York has those famously large
Dude,
apartments.
so big.
Yeah. And when you're a freelance writer, you got like a brownstone, right? Like you got a
Oh,
full
yeah.
like floor to yourself.
Plenty of
don't you?
space to work.
I sometimes just create a mess in a room and look at it, and I'm like, I don't have to see this again. I won't see this room for another 2 years. And then I just leave it.
We'll be
That's
back
So,
on for
That's
a
how it
while.
goes.
Yeah.
Is this like the first time they've spent a holiday with you in the city?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
I've got a whole thing planned for them. We're gonna go see the lights at like Saks Fifth Avenue, and then see the big Christmas tree. But we're really looking to do like a whole bunch of stuff here, just in Brooklyn. I think it'll be nice, especially over the past couple years. I haven't spent the holidays with my family since like 2019.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So it'll be really good, and God willing, my dad will run into a woman who is down on her luck at a PR business, and they can kick off a romance where she can decide whether to follow her career or fall in love with him.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Fantastic.
Now, I will say, I think we're coming up on the 4th anniversary of your dad seeing Cats. And
Yes.
if there's any way that we could just revisit it like on a yearly basis, that would actually be better for me. Because that, I think, I've read a lot of your stuff. I think that's my favorite thing you've ever written and should have gotten awards.
He struggles with podcasts, so I know he won't be listening. But I am getting him tickets to Cats in Knoxville.
No.
They're touring, and it's time for him to experience in person, because we had tickets in April of 2020, but if everybody remembers,
what
a couple
happened?
people got sick. A couple people got sick.
And you didn't go to the show for that?
Yeah, just safety precaution.
And I was like, "Are we making it?" And he was like, "No." So the Cats are back, and we're gonna make sure that he
are
gets
they
to
as
see 'em.
jellical as ever?
I hope so.
And, obviously.
Stupid question.
I know we have to get going, but I do have to ask this question because you're here, Justin, and I could ask you anytime, but I want to ask you now. Last night I saw a trailer for a Dolly Parton holiday TV Christmas special. Is that how excited are we as the resident Dolly expert, and what do we know as compared to Christmas on the Town?
As a freelance writer, I feel like you're always kind of looking for like a story and like how can I make a couple extra bucks, but I've reserved this for me.
Wow.
This is going to be me, 2 bottles of $9 wine, and just hoping for the best. Because I'll be frank, it doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great.
But we love Dolly, so we're always going to support. And by the time that second bottle of wine starts dwindling down, everything's going to be great. So like,
it's going to be awesome.
Complain.
Well, the good news is that Dolly Parton and Jimmy Fallon are never like not amazing together. All right, my Southern Family Christmas. Really excited to talk about this. It originally aired on November 24th, 2022, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with Wes Brown just kind of walking around an office. And I'm like, what? Didn't we just watch that earlier this week? We meet a woman named Campbell who is an airplane magazine writer. She writes for the magazines that you get in the airplane. And she's working with her friend to develop an original Christmas story. Wes Brown, their boss, is like, I need a good story ASAP. The planes aren't going to plane themselves. Campbell gets a voicemail from a woman named Jennifer, and she says that she thinks that she's her dad's wife. Probably the most confusing sentence you could get on a voicemail, but we find out that Campbell's not adopted, but her mom remarried. They left. The dad didn't want the dad didn't want to be involved, I guess. And so she calls back, and Jennifer tells Campbell that her father, Everett, will be the town's Père Noël. How do you say it?
Père Noël.
Père Noël.
Not Pierre.
It's a Cajun tradition.
Père Noël.
Well, Père Noël, go bayou.
Gator.
Gator. So he has. Is it offensive if I do the Cajun thing or no?
I can't. Where do we fall on that?
Man, where do we fall on that? No.
We fall on the
Justin, I know you're not from New Orleans,
That's
but offensive or not?
I don't know if they're fans about.
Okay, good.
We're on
He
the
got
same
it.
page.
I feel better about it. So he's going to be the new Père Noël. And so he has been feeling like he doesn't deserve it because of Campbell. And so she wants to stage a reunion to get those two kids back together so that her husband feels better about being Père Noël. Campbell declines, but then remembers the story that she has to write, an original Christmas story for Wes Brown. So she just is like, hey, what about Père Noël? She doesn't like run with the, hey, I want to meet my dad story. She just runs with a random town's Père Noël. And Wes Brown says, go run with it, kid. Campbell tells her parents, and they worry that she's going to get hurt if she makes the trip, but she goes anyways. It's a bit awkward at first, but, things come together. Jennifer tells Campbell that it's okay if she doesn't tell him at first that she's his daughter. You tell him when you're comfortable, and also you're not going to be staying here in this house. This is for family. You're going to be staying at another little cabin thing. Campbell meets her half-sisters, Mary Margaret, who's really good at the social media, and Amelia, who's got a lot of moxie. Campbell runs into Jackson. Jackson is going to be showing her stuff, I guess. And turns out that he is a hunk who, you guys aren't going to believe this, but he wears black rimmed glasses.
What?
We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it yet this season. It's a new thing they're trying.
And he's still attractive.
What a nerd, though,
and
right?
it almost makes him more attractive.
Almost.
That's wild.
Haven't seen it before. He is going to help show her around town and, brings her some coffee. And I hope it's Folgers, if he knows what's good for him.
The best part of waking up.
That's what I've always said. He gives her a bunch of documents on the town, and she finds the one on Everett. And his life story, everything you need to know about Everett is, I think, what the folder says. So she takes that and stuff. So she ends up babysitting her stepsisters, and they have the best night, having an icing fight, talking about photography, falling asleep watching movies in black and white, the only way that black and white movies are able to be sat through. But the next day, Jackson figures out the secret that Campbell is keeping and says, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I know what you did last summer." So she tells Jackson that she is nervous to tell Everett the truth. And so she ends up spending more time with Everett, selling meat pies, making meat pies, doing every possible meat pie activity under the sun. Did I mention meat pie? Maybe even meat pie. But she's lying by not telling him that he's making meat pies with his daughter because you never want to do that. So she calls her parents back home, and while on the phone, she jumps into the bush when she hears Everett and Jennifer walking outside, kind of having a bit of an argument, talking about how he misses his daughter and having Campbell around digging into his past isn't helping. He shares that he once tracked down his daughter, went and saw her at a play that she put on to go tell her she did a good job, but then he saw her jump into her dad's arms and realized that he's not needed. There's perfect family over there, doesn't want to mess that up. So he decides to love her from afar, is what he says. It's her last night in the old bayou, and she ends up slow dancing with Jackson to some folk Christmas tunes. And despite the folk Christmas tunes playing very loudly, they end up kissing, which I honestly did not see coming. And then they just start holding hands as they walk into the Père Noël boat ride. What? She goes to tell Everett, but then more journalists come to cover this story and interrupt him. So she decides that she's going to go home. You know what? I tried. I'm done here. Jackson convinces her to stay and not leave everyone behind. She shows up on Christmas morning, and she gives Everett a framed photo of him as a younger guy holding her as a baby. Everett puts it together, walks out of the room. She gets ready to leave. Then Everett comes back and says, "Hold on now. I have written letters over the years and also filled up this here book that I've been writing in. And so I just want you to have that." They hug, and he apologizes, and they all take a selfie together, taken by Jackson. Now, my friends, was my Southern Family Christmas.
We did it.
We did do it. We're going to take a quick break. Hopefully Justin recovers by the other side of the break. And we'll break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark.
Is there a ghost in here?
We're back, everybody. We're talking about my Southern Family Christmas. We're going to break it down with 4 segments. We're going to start with a hot take. I'll start with you, Brian. Brian, what'd you think about my Southern Family Christmas over there on the Hallmark Channel over there on the Bayou?
So I'm glad the family back together. The music had a real nice Southern twang. and I like that a lot. So I really enjoyed the music. I feel like it just flowed throughout this whole movie, which was really nice. I like being down in Louisiana. I like being on the bayou. The acting performances were awesome. I think everybody did a great job. I just didn't like that he left and didn't go back. And so I just, at the end of the movie, I'm like, this is all great. And this is supposed to be like a really emotional getting back together. It just didn't win me over because I just felt like he shouldn't have left. And I just didn't really like that about it.
Like left in general or left when
left the first time?
Left her the first time and not the room, like
Right.
he did leave the room. He's got like a history here.
Yeah,
he's coming back a lot faster now.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's getting better. He's working on it. But I just didn't like that. So I liked a lot about this movie. I just, that one tiny little huge
You mean the main
thing,
plot of the movie?
The whole thing about him being not, being the father that he should have been, really just
without it, the movie wouldn't have been made.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that
got
tiny little
got
thing.
it.
So I didn't really like that part of it. So I was kind of like, I don't like that. Other than that, I like the other parts of this movie.
Justin, what do you think about it?
I'm right there with you. I feel like, when you're playing putt-putt with a little kid and they keep hitting the ball like right around the hole, and then eventually you're just like, fine, and you like knock it in and so you can move on. I feel like that's what they did with that plot point of the dad leaving. It was like, oh, his dad was sick and he wasn't quite ready to be a father. Dark time. And like we never really like found out why he left, which I think is like Hallmark not wanting to get too dark. But in pursuit of not being too dark, I think they made that guy too big of an a-hole. Because like it's great that you wrote letters. Like, why didn't you send them? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't connect. But overall, I thought the film was it was quite nice. I think that I wouldn't agree that all of the performances were notable.
Sure.
But the Lion King's Maura Kelly, also known for her role as Karen Rowe on One Tree Hill, magnificent. She's timeless. JC Elliott, who is the often forgot about lesbian intern from Grey's Anatomy that they kind of wrote off very like quietly, also great. That guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Bruce Campbell.
Glasses.
Oh no, the guy
we're not
glasses.
talking about.
I'm about to say, wait a minute.
How dare you?
Can't remember his name.
You want a hot take? Bruce Campbell dragged that wagon the entire way through that film.
Yeah,
he phoned it all the way in. But the guy who is attractive but somehow becomes more attractive when he wears glasses. Great job.
Yeah.
So overall, I
so do the math on who
fine.
Justin didn't think did a good job at this movie.
No kidding.
Process of elimination.
You don't want me to start about the mayor. We don't have enough time.
No, we do not.
Yeah, this movie, I don't disagree with what anybody has said. I enjoyed the performances. I enjoyed the leads, and I always enjoy my time down at the bayou. Had a good time over there.
We go there every year.
Well, we've been
the second
time this year,
and then we were there Christmas on the bayou.
Right.
That's it.
So I've been there a good bit this year. It's off all y'all. Yo boy. Lots of meat pies, which I found are just empanadas for white people, which I also like. So all around good time for Bran, aside from the obvious. Dan?
Sure.
Yeah, so I love Bruce Campbell, and I think Bruce Campbell, who doesn't naturally have a big time Southern accent, he did good. Like, he's great in this movie, and JC Elliott's great in this movie. I had a hard time with, not that he left. I think that was just something you either had to accept or you didn't. I had a hard time with, how does he not know?
Yeah.
I just kept saying it all movie long. Like, he's seen her as a child, not as an infant, but as a child, like enough to like know your daughter. Like, that was the thing that I couldn't get past is that this big secret, like, if you loved and cared that much, how do you not know, man? Like, how do you not know this information? And so that bothered me. And then the fact that they kind of tacked on this romance on it, where these two people have 3 scenes together. And then all of a sudden it's like slow dance, kiss, and then you're in the family photo. Like, it went very, very quickly. And so some of this stuff didn't quite work. Performances of the leads I thought were really, really good. So yeah, it's going to probably right now it's in my top 10. Will it stay there by the end of the year? Probably not.
Top 10.
I mean, there's what 20. We've done 26 movies. That's not super high praise, but if
it sounds like high praise though.
I mean, top 70% ish. Top 30,
high. That's high.
Top 30% or whatever.
That's high.
I mean, I guess.
And it's been a year where you've liked 3 movies.
I've not liked 3. I've liked 2 movies. I did.
You liked 3 Wise Men.
I did not give it a.
We didn't.
You did.
We didn't sing on that.
We
one.
did sing.
No, you didn't.
Did?
No,
I think I did.
You sang on Ghosts of Christmas Always, and you didn't want to.
But I sang on 3 Wise Men, even though you didn't say you liked it.
We
interpreted it.
Yeah.
Interpreted.
It was an interpretive like.
Yeah, it just doesn't do a lot wrong aside from the fact that you have to clear this hurdle of if this guy really loves his daughter, like how does he not know, recognize her at least a little bit? And
he doesn't even like squint when he sees her.
He doesn't even that could be no. That's
Campbell.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
So it couldn't be.
Can't
Her
be
name's
Alice.
different. That's right. Her name's different.
Name's different. There's nothing.
There it is. Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
It's time for all the feels part of the show. We talk about what in this movie gave us feels. What are you feeling about, Brian?
So I've mentioned this a time or two before. Live Christmas music band will always do it for me. Anywhere, any place,
This
anytime.
week, eventually.
This week, it's really hitting me. If there's live Christmas music anywhere, I'm down. I love that. So when there was a live band playing and they were slow dancing and everybody's having a good time, that I just want to hang out in that swamp wherever they were down in the bayou. And the other scene that I was psyched for was the baking boot camp. I'm down for a baking boot camp again, anytime, any place. So
baking boot camp.
Wow.
Anytime, any place.
Anytime, any place.
Bold statement.
Wow.
I'll do it. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
The birth of your first child. Somebody says, "Hey,
man.
Baking boot camp. You got to go right now."
Anytime.
You said anytime.
I have been there for the birth of my first. I have not been at a baking boot camp.
But if we go back in time, Brian.
So they're handing me him.
All right, here we go. Hypothetically,
she's in labor. And someone's like, hey, right
real
now
quick,
is the
right
only
down
time
the hall, we
baking boot camp.
I'm like,
one or the other.
So I look to the nurse. I say, nurse, how much time do we have? Be real with me. How much time?
Ballpark it for me.
Did you call her hot nurse?
No, I said I look to the nurse. I say,
I thought you said, "Hey, hot nurse."
I heard hot nurse.
Yeah. Did I say hot? I may have.
Whatever you're talking about nurses, do you just call them hot nurse?
This isn't going to go well for my review.
Hypothetical here. You're down at the bayou. You're at this event.
Yeah.
A gator comes up, chops off both your legs. You're lying there. Hot nurse comes up and says, "Hey, we got to get you to the hospital, or we could take you to the baking boot camp."
Yeah,
baking boot camp will be the last thing you do before you bleed out.
It sounds like I'm probably going to bleed out anyway. So let's just.
That's not how you should have taken that. But,
man.
All right, fine. Justin.
I mean, I wrote down for mine again. Lovely to see Maura Kelly on television, but I'm with you, Brian. I like a good Christmas band. I like Zydeco and also Zydeco adjacent music, which I think is probably a pretty liberal way of saying what was playing. It was mostly just like folk music,
right?
But I like that, and then I don't know if you guys have seen the cinematic masterpiece called "Where the Heart Is," starring Ashley Judd and
Natalie Portman.
Yeah. But I have a really weird relationship with that movie. And what's his face? Mr. Glasses gave me Forney vibes. So I just felt like...
We can't say that word on the show.
Sorry. Hot nurse is fine, but that...
Forney?
Forney. Got it.
Forney.
Forney.
Not... But...
It's a PH.
PH Forney.
In my defense, you're talking about Jackson with the glasses, so it really could go either way.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I thought there was something quite nice about him, and then nothing gets me in my feels more than a meat pie. So
meat pie.
Meat pie.
I've got the most shocked kiss feels I've had in a long time. I could not believe that Campbell and Jackson kissed.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
I think that was maybe their third scene together, fourth scene together, maybe. and they're doing it by folk music. I don't know. I just didn't see any of it coming. And then they come strolling up to the bayou, holding the hands. It just seemed like a lot had happened that we weren't privy to.
Yeah.
Because aside from that, I just don't know how you end up in that situation. But listen, I've only kissed one person in my life. Hey, baby. You're the only hot nurse I see.
Nailed it. That's why you've only kissed one person. Right?
That's something to do with
There
it.
it is. Nailed it.
Could
we cracked that case wide open.
Could be.
I did get a really good feel out of the I guess who would be considered JC Elliott's stepmom in this situation, who is kind of like making all of this happen, and like it complicates things for her, and yet she's doing it anyway because she knows that like Bruce Campbell desperately needs closure and reconciliation and doesn't know how to use the internet. So like she's like doing this. And so when they go up there to get a picture and she's like, I'm getting emotional, I don't know why. And then the Ryan Rotman character says, it's because you love her too. That scene really worked for me as someone who is like, hey, I've got my significant other, my spouse and my children, and our life is really great. I know that this would make things more complicated, but it's necessary and good. So I'm doing it anyway. I really appreciated that storyline.
There you go.
There you have
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the Wait, What's, and the What. The Hallmark here on Deck the Hallmark on WOOO. The Move. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about My Southern Family Christmas. It's time to talk about the Wait What's, where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? And I'll start with the biggest wait, what of them all. Brian?
Yep. So that according to the internet, you are not wrong. So Campbell's mom was like such a
Why?
I don't know. It just got to happen. Because
Why did you do that?
Campbell's mom was such like a poor sport when she said she wanted to go reconnect with her dad, meet her dad. And I was just like, why? Like, why? Her dad takes off on her. That's terrible. The mom does not support her when she wants to go connect. It's just like from all angles, she's just like kind of on her own in the middle. I'm like,
womp,
why?
womp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Womp. And I had
Are you sure you want
yeah,
to
you
do
sure?
that?
We got a
Maybe
good thing
not.
here.
Maybe even don't.
So, and when you mentioned it, like, how does he not know it was
How do you
her?
not know?
Like, not even an inclination in his mind. Like, they're about the same age, like her eyes, like anything.
I'm not saying she walks in and you're like, there she is. I'm saying like you continue to spend time with her and then you start putting the pieces together of a reporter from Texas is here and she's the same age as the dog. Like, there's so much there that you would have to ignore.
Yeah, and he does pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And the last one was just the three reporters from Mississippi showing up with their media passes that literally said media pass.
I mean, come on, man. You're not even trying My Southern Family Christmas.
Campbell didn't even have a media pass. She's a poser.
It's a good thing she left. Kick her out anyway.
That's right. Justin, what are you waiting and whatting?
I mean, there's two things. There's 12 things, but I narrowed it down to two things. First and foremost, I can't remember what her name is, but Maura Kelly, totally sociopathic. Like the entire thing, like reaching out to somebody, not letting people know, and then just like playing into it. And it became cruel at the end because it's like, oh, only family matters. Real family, though. And like JC Elliott's over there looking like she's about to burst into tears. And Maura's like, okay. And like, just kind of brutal. But the thing that I really want to focus in on, and I don't want to like pull like too much professional experience on this, but when is this story gonna run?
Yeah, right.
Well after Christmas.
Good question.
Well,
Still putting the finishing touches on that Père Noël story for January 10th.
The window is gone. Meanwhile, if I pitched a story like that, my editor would be like, Justin, you fell asleep in front of your computer again. And I'd be like, checkmate. But like, it's a bad story. Absolutely no reporting. Did she write down anything? Did she record anything? And then you get to the end and she's like, I'll be back on Christmas morning so I can start writing my story about Christmas. I don't know. It all lost me.
Someone in the chat is saying they
so
talked
you
about
really
working.
have to show up and do
They're
your best work, and she wasn't.
No.
Someone in the chat is saying they talked about working a year in advance.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Wow. That airline magazine is serious.
For a feature, the feature is a year in
Oh,
advance.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Well,
I don't know what's.
She was up for the cover, and let me tell you, just since we're weight wadding, those photography skills aren't gonna. That's not cutting high.
Oh no.
But here we are.
I have a couple. I could have sworn that when we first meet Jackson, he doesn't have lenses in his glasses.
He doesn't.
Yeah. Like the rest of the movie, I think that he does, but there was something in that first scene. They were so transparent.
Poke him straight in the eye.
In the rest of the movie, there are occasionally you can see reflections in the glasses. These ones were so clear. You couldn't see any. I don't know. Somebody let me know. Jackson, if you're listening, let me know. While they're working together at the meat pie truck, Bruce Campbell says this line: meat, just regular meat. And I just got a hoot out of that. What type of meat pie would you like? Would you like meat, or regular meat in your pie? Which is a fair question. Listen, Justin, I don't know. Maybe you will take offense to this. I don't know. I'm not here to poo-poo on airline magazines. I think that they serve a purpose. But can we stop calling them journalists? Can we?
I'm very loosely a journalist. Like I wouldn't call myself a journalist, and like I technically am. So like, yeah, we're getting real wild about this. And
an airline magazine
that's based in Texas.
I'm looking over here in advance, and they're saying, and blah, blah, blah. Wow, I just like completely melted down.
On the bayou.
You got it.
I'm over here looking at the chat, and I see comments. They talked about working a year in advance. They did. Yes, Wes Brown said it at the start, and I hear you. But at the end of the day, if you have a year to put together this magazine, it's not journalism.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're also not getting a cover of a story of just a town in Louisiana's Père Noël. What is it? Is it Spirit Airlines? Is that where this is going?
Hey, as a card-carrying Spirit Airline member.
This man lives on meat pies. There's a good chance he won't see next Christmas.
That's right.
So like, this is not going to be relevant. But yeah, I'm here with you.
I have two more very quickly. I'm fairly certain that mandolin was a bomb because they kept doing the close-ups of the guy playing the mandolin, and he's just like
scared for his life.
If he plays the wrong note, that thing will explode, and his life will be over. Last but not least is the biggest one for me. He says that after the letters that he sent got returned, he didn't know their address anymore. So he wrote in that notebook that he handed her every day. He says he wrote in that notebook every day. That notebook is this big.
Wafer thin.
Did he write like a line a day? My day was good. Sold meat. Day 2. My day was good again. Sold double meat.
Meat.
What?
Regular meat.
Double meat, regular meat. Good day. What is in this journal that he's written every day and is probably smaller than the airline magazine?
Yeah.
Like it is so small. Every day that guy wrote in that. Biggest way what?
Before he wrote in that, he did try to send her letters, and he said they were returned to him, and he still has them, which is funny because they are not postmarked at all.
Yeah.
No return to sender
maybe
stamp.
Even you send
Maybe
them.
even liar.
Maybe even you lied. When she meets what's his name? This actor's name is Ryan Rotman. No glasses wearing guy. When JC Elliott meets Ryan Rotman, the mayor then turns over to the mom or the stepmom and goes, I can't tell if they're flirting or fighting. Why would they be fighting? They literally just met. Why is that an option? Why is fighting one of the things it could be? I don't know. Just pick fights with people you just met? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. I had a hard time with the fact that Bruce Campbell didn't know who his daughter was. But if we're going to accept that, if we're going to accept that Bruce Campbell thinks this is a journalist from Texas who's writing a story on him becoming Père Noël in Sorrento, Louisiana. If we accept that, then can I tell you what's not happening? He's not letting a journalist from Texas watch his daughters in the evening. He's not. I met you 36 hours ago. I don't know you from Adam. You're a journalist from Texas who's writing an article on me. My wife and I are going to go out on the town. Could you watch my girls for me? No. Southerner would rather be caught dead.
What if that's the reason that he's not in Alice/Campbell's life anymore? Like, it wasn't that he had a dark time. It had nothing to do with his dad. He had to like run to the store and he let a stranger watch her.
That's right. Yeah, and it was like a journalist from like the Journal.
And that stranger became her dad.
That's right.
Exactly. Yes, that's it.
If you let a member of the media watch your children and you don't know them, I think if you're from the South, I think you burn in liberal hell. I believe is what happens. I don't know the exact terminology.
Literally anybody but the media.
But I mean, if you do that, like you're done. You've sold your soul to the devil, man. Like you can't do that. Are you kidding me right now? At one point, the reason his daughters aren't in the room is because he says they're upstairs composing the ultimate post. Yeah. Which I just had a kick out of is like these two teenagers are a crack staff of having to be like in a lab somewhere to get the perfect. Like we can't just crank that out real quick. They're like, They got a board like Dr. House up there and they're like, no, it couldn't be this. It's better be blah, blah. Like that was really, really funny to me.
Meet you at the meat house. No. Scrap it. Do something better.
Regular meat. No.
Regular meat cube.
Back to square one. Yeah, that's all I got.
It's time for What the Hallmark. It's where we talk about any questions that we still have that we would like some answers to. Brian, what are you wondering about?
Sure. So eventually I feel like there will be a time where these sisters fight and somebody is going to pull it's not your family, it's my family card. And I want to know what that fight ends up being about. Because I feel like something like that is coming.
You think so?
Point. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
That's all.
Justin, what are you still wondering about?
I don't have a question. I just have an answer. The secret ingredient, salt.
Oh, thank you. I thought it was MSG.
You think they go Lowry's?
I mean, if you're a good person, you go Lowry's.
That's right.
If you're a good and decent Christian, you're putting Lowry's on everything.
That's right.
I know firsthand. But yeah, at the end they were just like salt.
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 So I gotta be honest, I have a feeling that they said, how can we like switch up the classic baking fight? And they said, let's do frosting fight. And I think that they envisioned the icing fight looking better on screen than it did.
Yeah.
Because they're squirting icing at each other, but you can't really see it. Like we have a good TV. It was getting lost in the background. It was not like flour fight. Boom, fun. Bet you throwing all the like sugar and stuff. That's going everywhere. The icing fight, I think, looked better on the page than it did on the screen. And I want to know if after they shot that, they thought about redoing it as some sort of other baking substance, or if they were just like, there's nothing we can do.
It's in the can.
There's nothing we can do.
Go.
Because I was disappointed. I was like, we're doing a new thing. And then I couldn't like see the new thing. And it wasn't like getting all over their faces like I think they wanted it to. It was not a mess, if you know what I mean.
I see what
that was the problem. Yeah. Dan?
I have two. The dude is supposedly the town's sacred record keeper.
Yeah.
I just want to know how you apply for that job and how that is a full-time job in a tiny town of Sorrento. And then I could be just like, if somebody knows, please tell me. But my bigger one is the aforementioned 3 reporters from Mississippi. I just want to I want to get this straight in my head and just find out where the filmmakers are coming from here. So there is literally no media at this event.
Yeah.
None, except for one journalist from Texas who happens to be the Père Noël's long lost daughter. And then 3 women from Mississippi who've driven down to the bayou to get the scoop. I just, why are all 3 of them from Mississippi? Why there's no, either it is a thing or it isn't. Why does this matter to Père Noël's daughter and to 3 women in Mississippi? That's all I'm asking is what about Mississippi is sending their best and brightest to cover this town's Père Noël along with his long lost daughter?
And that's not great for the airline magazine's front cover story that's going to come out in a year. Then it's already being covered by Mississippi.
That's right.
We lost our scoop.
Yeah.
We lost our scoop. And they had media passes.
I know. Real live media passes.
We did it, everybody. Congratulations. Another episode down. Another one you can go listen to right now because it's out. Go check that out. And we'll be back on Saturday and Sunday. Justin, do you want to plug anything real quick before we leave?
There's a little upstart podcast called John Dutton Must Die that you should listen to. If you don't watch Yellowstone, that's no excuse. You just just show up and listen.
There you go. And do you have a writing? Do you write?
I do. I write. That's my job. And currently I'm working on a Christmas feature due in a year. And if you want to check that out next December, follow me at Justin Kirkland for everywhere.
From what I gather, it'll be on every airline?
It's on Allegiant for sure.
So you've finally made it.
It's only on Allegiant, particularly the route that runs from New York to Knoxville. That's it.
That's it.
It's a good one. I'm glad they finally did that. Yeah. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a That Sounds Fun podcast. It's produced by Tracy Name. It's recorded live in that Greenville, South Carolina. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com.